So here's the hoodie that needs pockets right here. And I found this other hoodie that has similar dimensions. And I thought, look at these pockets. They would make a great little pattern that I could use for the hoodie. So I got some yellow paper so that I could make a pattern, and I just put it on top of the pocket. And I'm kind of a thrasher, so I just kind of feel my way and maybe use a pen once in a while to trace it, but otherwise I made myself a nice little pocket pattern, then laid out the t-shirt, and you can see all the designs I made with the spray bleach, and I thought I'll just lay it down the middle and make a pocket from each side. It won't exactly be symmetrical, but I think it'll look fantastic. So I pinned that pattern down there and grabbed my scissors, and I start to cut, and I notice, whoops, that's wiggling around. It's going to need at least one other pin, and I'll move all that other junk out of the way that was underneath. And now I decide I'm going to cut through both layers of the material because that hoodie is kind of thick, and the t-shirt was probably about half as thick, but doubled up, it should make a real similar texture or weight. So then I just flip that over so that I can literally just cut around the other pocket so that I have two pockets of the exact same dimensions. And you can see there's the t-shirt where I go ahead and turn the pretty parts, the bleached parts, inward so that I can sew around the edges. So I'll take both and flip them so that the pretty parts are in, and I can sew around the edges and then turn it inside out so that I have those pieces thick enough that they're like a hoodie. So what I'm going to do is go around 3 edges of that material. Just kind of put a little basting straight stitch in there so that I can turn that pocket inside out and see just the design on the good side without any raw edges. So we'll get the other side too. Just follow those 3 edges right along the side with a straight stitch, and then I'll turn that material inside out, making sure to flatten it all out in those corners. And as I turn it inside out, I notice, oh, look at this little white imprint from the t-shirt itself that I was practicing on. I'm going to make sure that becomes the inside of the pocket. So I take my pockets and I line them up on there, and I say, oh no, look, I jabbed a hole when I was cutting just willy-nilly with those scissors. So I didn't catch it on camera that well, but all I'm doing is just hand stitching up that little hole because I don't feel like starting over. So there, good as new. And I decided, in order for that material to lay really flat, I'm going to go ahead and put a top stitch around the edges of that material and make sure those corners are very flat so my pocket lies really flat on the front of that jacket. Now for the other pocket, I'll grab that one and sew a top stitch top of that, get that one to lay flat. Now I got my 2 pockets, and I'll place them on front of the jacket, kind of flip that lower part under for the jacket, and then sew that part flat. There again, placing them back on the jacket with all the edges sewn nice and flat so that it fits. I think it looks pretty good, so went ahead and pinned it in place, and we're going to go ahead and top stitch it around there too. So just simply do a straight stitch on top there, leaving of course the pocket part open, sewing around those 3 edges, taking out those pins, and doing the same thing on the other side. Sometimes I take those pins out as I go, other times I sew right over them. I don't know about you, but if I don't have a pin cushion right there, those pins get all over the place. So I just straight stitch on top there, and voila, there's my pocket. So let's see what it looks like on. There's the final. I think that material is a pretty good match, good thickness, nice design. I think that spray bleach turned out wonderful. And a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you put a patch on the back of that jacket, because I had more of that t-shirt left. So I took a square that was really kind of over bleached and thought, oh, I'll make a layer. But instead of putting it square, I'll put it like in the diamond position there, since there's a nice little tail on the coat and a point on the hoodie. It'll go good in that position. So I put that over bleached one, line it up on the bottom, and then I get the one that's very lightly bleached. It's just a light stencil. You can see a lot of the black still in there. And once I get my position, I go ahead and pin it all around. And then I start by stitching around the lighter one, the one that looks oranger. So just a simple top stitch to get it to stick down around the edges. And then I go ahead and sew around the edges of the darker one. So I've got that patch on my back. And there it is, kind of cool. Add some extra bling to the back of the jacket. So let's see what this looks like when I put it on. You can see the decoration. So when I put it on, it's like, whoops, that hoodie's kind of in the way. But when I'm wearing the hoodie, it's a little extra bling and customization right there. So there's the final of the back. And then I couldn't resist one more look-see at the front, the final of these pockets on this hoodie.